Hello, how's everybody doing? Just another ex-Jehovah Witness um, YouTube, okay? Um, I am going to talk about what the, I've been putting this one together for a while, and first of all, I have to say I hope everybody's doing very, very good. Um, and I just got off of work, so I'm kind of like, and I walked a lot, and it was like a long day. So I was doing this YouTube. I was thinking about it at work. This one came from bits and pieces. At first, it was really, really short, but then it turned out a little bit longer. And I was thinking about it all day. I didn't really want to do this one because it's so not strange, kind of strange. But I prayed about it, and I feel that it's a good one because ex-Jehovah Witness. I met ex-Jehovah Witnesses that wanted to go back. One time I was working with one. It was just so nice working with someone who used to be a Jehovah Witness. So I met a lot of them on the way, but this one he wanted to go back or whatever. And I was wondering, I put it together. These are information that I always had, but I never thought about it in this light because I was thinking, like, how do I know? And I spoke about this a lot of times. How do you know? How do I know that I'm right? How do I know that Jehovah's Witnesses are wrong? And this is a hard topic because I always try to find something to show that, we didn't make a mistake. I mean, you know how the mind works. So I wanted to make it into to where I can show you because I had to ask myself that question, why did I never go back? I mean, why don't I even think about going back? Why do I know that they're, that it's not right? You know what I mean? Because, like I told you, I always question myself, if I'm doing the right thing. And I said that before. So, anyway, I came up with three things that happened to me or I experienced. And that's just three things because I'm making this YouTube. And I had to pick out certain things. Of course, I can't, I just picked out three things that I feel, not that I feel, um, three things that showed me or shown me that, yes, the Jehovah Witnesses are wrong. Well, I know that they're wrong, but sometimes you have to show experiences, and this is a video of why I know that the Jehovah Witnesses are wrong, and I'm right. Yes, I want to say that, and I'm right. Um, and I'm sure everybody else has their own, you know what I mean? But here's a YouTube, and I have to expose some really touching things that happened to me. So it's three things actually that I picked out. One is dealing with something that happened to me at work, at a job that I was at, okay? The one that happened to me at a job at work is that, of course, I'm not going to use the names or exactly where it is and things like that because, there's people, I mean, it's just not polite. I mean, I'm a YouTuber, but most YouTubers are very sensitive about that. They don't like to tell people's names and stuff like that and experience, and they'll change, the context. So I'm changing the context, but I'm going to tell you the whole true story, though. Um, it was something that happened to me. Okay, so that's number one. The next thing I want to say something when I was in college. Okay, I went to several colleges, as you should know, if you look at my videos. And something happened to me in a drawing class. It was a nude drawing. I'm an artist, of course, you know that. And I wanted to take this nude drawing class, and I took it. Um, I took that, and something happened there. And that's the next thing. And then the third one was about, which I mentioned in some of my videos earlier, but I didn't mention in this kind of context. So I don't usually say things over again that happened to me, but if it comes out in a different circumstance, I'll do it. And this is something that happened during the World Trade Center, the 9/11, and I lived in New York then. And that one's really big because lately, this is one that put everything together, you know, as far as me knowing that they're wrong, the Jehovah Witnesses are wrong, and I am right I am right. I just want to say that I'm not saying haughtily or being haughty or anything. Um, so anyway, that one was really, really big. And just the reason that I think the reason why I wanted to choose three things is because I started watching, you know, the World Trade Center. I mean, because they started doing these videos to where they're very organized and very good information about the things that happened. And I told you I lived there, you know what I mean? And I also wrote it on a comment um, when I was watching the shorts, you know. So let's get into it. My first one was where I was working, okay? And this is one reason why it tells me that, you know, I am in the right direction. Um, I was working in this bar, and I had a friend there. Actually, I had two friends. Okay, well, I had a lot of friends there, but um, I noticed that okay, these two friends went to the bathroom. It's two ladies, two friends. I don't know. You want to say women or young ladies or whatever, and they went into the bathroom. And when they came out, they just looked totally different. You know, what happened is they had consumed some kind of drug. I mean, it was what do you call it? What do you call those drugs? I mean, it's not like prescription drugs. I'm not. I don't do drugs. I was just never. I would tell you if I did drugs, but I never liked them. I don't know why. I always hung around people who did drugs. I mean, just because you know I was in the situations that I was in as far as my living and stuff like that. Um, I never even liked marijuana or anything. I mean, I just never did. You know what I mean? And I had a lot of friends at this point in time who did. Well, I always had a lot of friends who did drugs. But anyway, I was working at this place, and some people did drugs. Okay, I'm going to change it a little bit. Some people did drugs, um, and I knew that. Okay, but anyway, these were two friends, and one of the friends that came out really looked like a different person after they did it. Okay, then I overheard, or some kind of way, to where one of them were saying you took too much. You know what I mean? It was way too much. And I was working, and because I was like doing like I'm not gonna say what I was doing because I don't want to give away anything as far as the context is concerned. Anyway, I was working, and the other friend of mine came over by the wall to where I was working, and I had another friend there who was working with me, and she stood beside the wall, like on the wall. You know, actually, I can tell you it was. No, I don't want to say that. Okay, so anyway, she stood on the wall, and she was supporting herself. But my other friend thought something was wrong. Well, he knew something was wrong. And he touched her, but I knew by the way he touched her that she was going to it's just certain things I know. I don't even know how I know, but they're so exact. You know what I mean? But I knew if he touched her that she was going to like give up, okay? Because she was standing, and I just knew that once he touched her, she was going to give up. And what I'm saying is give her weight up, you know? And he touched her because she was just standing by the wall. She was just standing, I guess I can say how she was standing, but like this, you know, on the wall. But she was standing, but I knew, I just knew that once he touched her, she was going to, give herself up. What I'm saying is stop standing up on her own. So he goes, something's wrong with her. And I said, I don't know why I said this, but you can't call the police. I just said that, I don't know why I said that either. But anyway, that happened, and I touched her. And when I touched her, I knew that she was all right. And I go, he was like holding her up now. And he goes, something's wrong. I don't know how I know certain things, okay? But I know 100%. And I just touched her, and I go, she's all right. And he goes, what do you mean she's all right? She's not even holding up. But I knew why she wasn't holding up, because he touched her, you know what I mean? So then she just was just gone, she wouldn't stand up on her own. So, there was a big problem, you know what I mean? She was young too. And, what happened was I went downstairs, okay? Now, I touched her and I knew that she was all right in some way, because I know certain things that I can't explain. And, I went downstairs and I started pacing, okay? What I mean by pacing is I went downstairs in the basement, and I, was walking back and forth, pacing. It was now that I see my mind, because I told you I can do that, exactly how I felt. When I touched her, I knew she was all right. And then, like I told you, what was happening, I went downstairs in the basement. When I went down the stairs in the basement, now that I look at my mind right now, it's serious, dead serious. And I don't have anything on my mind. I just walk back and forth, okay? And I'm thinking about her. I'm walking back and forth with her on my mind, not thinking anything, just knowing what was happening. I don't know why I did that either. But then I came back up, and they moved her to a couch. And there was this real big guy. He was the bouncer. Big guy. Nobody would mess with him. And I went over to her, and I just said her name. I said, how can I say? I'm going to use a different name. Catherine. That's all I said. It's Catherine. And it was I didn't think anything bad. I mean, I didn't think anything at all. I mean, now I'm looking at my mind how I was. I can remember how my thoughts were. And it wasn't thinking anything. It wasn't thinking that I got to do something. We don't have that much time. It was nothing like that. The only thing I said was, Catherine. And her eyes were like this. She was like that. So, and I was saying, Catherine, Catherine, Catherine. And then after a while, the big guy was getting ready to, like, you know, bring her back. So he's getting ready to hit her or slap her. And I saw his, and I go, don't. Just don't. And he stopped. He listened to me. And I said, Catherine, Catherine, Catherine. It went on and on, just like Catherine. I never got, tired of saying it. I never felt like time was running out. I just said Catherine in different ways, like Catherine, Catherine. Oh, it was a long time. You know how when something's happening, it takes a long time. Well, it took a long time, and I kept saying, Catherine, 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 Catherine. Just like that, very low, not hollering, not like Catherine. No, just like Catherine, Catherine. And after a while, she was like this, and her head went back, and her eyes were all the way in the back of her head, and they came back up. Like, her eyes were like, it was like all the way back there, and she pushed her head back, and she opened her eyes were white, and her eyes came back. And I said, she's all right now. I don't know how in the world, but I knew that she was all right. And they picked her up, and she went to throw up outside. She was like, you knew she was all right. It was just like, this girl's all right now. And she threw up. And she was all right. I mean, like, nothing was wrong with her. I'm not saying nothing was wrong with her, but total senses and everything like she was before. Like, she never took a drug or anything. But she threw up a little bit. I guess she threw that up in her stomach. So anyway, we had a party after a while, and I don't know, I got to talk to her, and she told me that, I don't know when I talked to her or whatever, but she told me that she was like in a tunnel. And she kept hearing me call her, Catherine, 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 Catherine. And she turned around or something like that. And she was all right. And then her father came some other time and was happy that she was all right. Thanked me. I don't want to say thanked me, because I didn't really know what I was doing. I really didn't. Not that I was doing anything. It's just something, like, for instance, like, I just know that I can do it. Like, with American yoga, I knew I could do it, but I didn't know I had to do it. I mean, like, I wanted to show people how they can get more satisfaction out of life and doing things better, but I didn't know that I had to do it because I don't want to do anything. I mean, like, what I'm trying to say is I don't have any, I just want to have, like, a nice life and have fun. And I think because I'm older, I don't really want to do anything, but I have to do all these things. So anyway, like, when I was doing a Dance Without Music, American Yoga, I knew what I was talking about, but nowadays you have to do things. So that's why I did that. But I was just showing you that I know a lot of things that I could do that I know, but, it's just that I know how to do it. So that's the first story. Why do I feel that, why did I choose that one? I chose it because it had nothing to do with this person is being good, this person is being bad, this person is being good. It was just about life and a friendship. You know what I mean? I didn't judge her. She didn't judge me. There was no judgment. We just helped each other. I mean, she was my friend, and I just wanted, back then, it wasn't that I wanted to help her. It was just like, I don't understand exactly the reasons or why I did what I did. I mean, I wasn't like, I gotta help her. It wasn't that. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like something that I did. I wouldn't even give myself the credit. You know what I mean? So it just showed me that yes, there are. I picked that one because it's just like I said, we help each other. You know what I mean? If you can do something, you can help somebody. You don't have to be a Jehovah Witness or this person or that person. So that's why I showed you that one. That's one reason why I know for 100%. I have to say, God, I'm almost sure He saw something or whatever. So that's up to Him, but I don't have any more explanations of how that happened or what happened or what I did. It just happened. But it showed me that, you know, the Jehovah Witnesses are not right. I mean, I'm right when I chose my direction to go into to leave that religion. And then the next one is okay, a drawing class. I was in this drawing class, and I just wanted to take, because I'm an artist, but I never took a drawing nude class. You know what I mean? It's just I hope anybody doesn't understand why somebody would take a drawing nude class. It's like classical music. I mean, it's like, as far as drawing is concerned, drawing nudes is like classical. I mean, you're not drawing, clothes and stuff, you know what I mean? But it's just like the human body. And I just thought it was very interesting because I like to draw. And I never took a drawing class. I took one drawing class, two drawing classes, and I wanted to take this drawing class. It was a challenge. So, this is kind of strange, but it was in Rutgers University. And I got into the drawing class. You had to buy this. She told about the supplies and everything that we have to buy. And one of the things that we had to buy from their store, so I'm letting you know that it wasn't anything strange that I bought, because I'm going to tell you this story. So, you have a cloth, okay? Just a cloth, not like a towel. But anyway, I just want to show you. It was like a cloth. It was like no more than like this wide, I think, and it's a square, but around about this wide, I guess. You know what I mean? So and you had to buy pencils. Was it pencils? Charcoal. I think it was charcoal. Was it charcoal? Anyway, some kind of charcoal or some kind of pencil, but it was like soft or something like that. Anyway, you had a whole, from hard to soft. You had different kind of textures. This, you just had different kind of textures. So 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 I had my cloth, okay, and you have to have like shavings of the charcoal or whatever, and you take the cloth and you wipe it on the board. You have a easel and everything. It was a professional class. I mean, but I mean, like, a very unique. They had everything there, big easels, for drawing, and it was about like maybe 15 people in the class, and it was a big studio, the Rutgers University, and so when you put your paper on, your drawing paper on, it was a big drawing paper, okay, and then you take your rag, and it has to have some kind of charcoal or something on it, and then you have to smear smear the board, okay? So whenever I would smear the board with the charcoal, okay, because that's like the background, it got points will come up. I mean points, seriously. I'm talking about not measurement, but it was like perfect. A machine couldn't have done better. And it was little dots. I mean, it wasn't measured to inches, but I would say it was like it wasn't an inch. It wasn't no number. It was just dots that were in squares in my whole paper. It was just, and you know, the funny thing about it is, like, when things happen to me like that, I don't think anything like, this is strange. But I just, it just happened, and I did the drawing, and then the person would come up. It was a lady or a man, and they would come in the middle, you know, I mean, just like stand in the middle. They have different poses, and then you would draw them. But every time I would cover the board. Whenever I would cover the board with the charcoal, with the whatever kind of pencil or whatever, with the, you know, like with the white cloth, you know, for the background, the dots would appear. I mean, perfectly aligned dots. Oh, I'm sorry. I wish I had a pencil here to show you. But anyway, it was like dots, like squares. You know what I mean? Dots, squares on the whole board. I don't know how it came from the top to the bottom. And I just, you know, it was just like normal to me. And I was like, I didn't say anything. But I know everybody was saying, like, what is going on here? The only thing I did was take the towel and just like cover it with the charcoal, whatever. And it would show up every time during the whole class, whenever I would draw. And one time my teacher came over, so it's not just me. One time my teacher came over, the professor came over, and she goes, how do you get those dots? And I go, I don't know. They just come up. They just appear. Anyway, I went through the whole thing, and the whole class. I went through the whole class. And that's what happened. But it shows me, that one showed me that it's more to, a lot of people don't believe in God or whatever, but there is, that He is there. I mean, that would show me that He is there. I mean, He can do things that you just can't believe. And I mean, it's just something that just happened to me. But I know other people have a lot of things that happen to them that's like that. I wouldn't say strange or whatever, but you know, that happens. And I have a YouTube channel, so I can express it to you. So those things. So another time too, I was showing my brother's wife's friend my drawings, and this is after the class and everything, and she noticed the dots. And right now, I never knew how difficult it would be to do dots. I never realized it, but now I realize just how precise and eloquent and it's breathtaking to just these dots that came up even, totally even, like better than a machine because it wasn't measured. Okay, so when she saw my paint, most people don't really notice them, but when she saw my drawings, she goes, how did you get the dots? Like my professor said. And I go, and I tried to explain it to her. It just happened every time I did that board. So that's another thing that showed me that that's another thing that I picked to show me that is way more interesting things and beautiful things that can happen to you not being a Jehovah Witness. And and having the governing body take away all your weird, beautiful experiences that God can give it to you. So that was then the third one. I don't. I hope I post this. Um, the third one was about World Trade Center. Oh, this time. Okay, the World Trade Center. So during the World Trade Center, a week before the World Trade Center, something was happening to me. There's something that happened to my money. I don't know what it was. I can't catch that, but that's how it started. Um, then I knew something was wrong. I forgot what happened to the money I had or something like that. But that's doesn't really make a big deal. But before the World Trade Center, the week before the World Trade Center, things started happening and I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know what was going on. How can I say a big colossal? The number one thing. Well, I knew something was wrong. Okay, the reason why I say about the money because I knew something was wrong, and because it's something that happened to my money. I don't know. It was just like I lost it or something like that. But just by happening, this is when you just had pretty much cash. I don't think I had anything to do with the bank or something like that. But something happened to the money I had. I don't know. But it was like a message, I could tell. It was just the way it happened. So my friend had a restaurant. Um, it was close. I think it was the number of streets. See if I can remember. I would say it was around 14th Street. I mean, on the line, okay? And I'm not, but don't, I mean, I'm not sure, but it was pretty close to the World Trade Center, but not that close. Um, but the weird thing about it is, okay, I don't know how it happened. I don't know which place I saw first, but I knew, okay, the first thing was the money, and that's why I was going to talk to my friend. And this is during the week. I don't know which happened first. The other thing was I was walking by the library. It was like close to 40. Is it on 42nd? Because I hadn't been there in so long. But anyway, it's by the was where the library was in Manhattan, and they had a museum there too. Where the museum and the library was. There was a museum. No, there was a library, and then they had it was like two libraries. Yeah, yeah, both of us. It was two libraries. I can't really explain it because I haven't been there in so long. So when I was going across the street to the library, the streets were, going toward the uh, and that was Fifth Avenue. I'm almost positive. Okay, and because Fifth Avenue goes all the way downtown, and I would walk it all the time. But when I was walking crossing the street to go to the library, it was two dimensional. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, for something, I mean, it was just, now that I see, it was like really, really beautiful. It was mind boggling. But I didn't think of it that way. I just saw it and I knew something was happening. I knew something was wrong. It was two dimensional. It was everything there, but it was two dimensional, and I knew I couldn't walk down it. Can you imagine? It was just like two dimensional. And the weird thing about it is just I didn't. The only thing I knew when I saw the two dimensions was I couldn't go down that street. I mean, it was like a picture, But it was that same street, but it was two-dimensional, so I knew I couldn't go down it. I didn't say, wow, this is really cool, this is great. I didn't say that. The only thing I knew is that the only thing I thought was I know I can't go down there. And I don't, like I said, I don't know how the events happened. I don't know which was first. But then another time, I went to go see my friend, which had a restaurant, and it was to closer to the World Trade Center. But whatever was telling me or protecting me, I would have to say, because I would always go down that way. Um, Whatever was protecting me let me go to my friend's restaurant. A very close friend. Actually, I love her. But anyway, um, so I went to his restaurant and he came out and I was explaining something, what happened to my money. I can tell that something's wrong because I lost something about the money. I can't remember that one. The only thing about it is the way it happened. I knew that there was some kind of problem. And then I had seen the two-dimensional over by the library. But then when I was talking to him, it was two-dimensional. It only let me go to, now that I can see now, it only let me go to his door because right after the door, and his door was like close to the corner of the street. And there was a ladder there, like past the door, his door, and everything was two-dimensional also. So that means now that I see that I was able to go just to his door, whatever it is. I mean, I have to say God, but I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm not going to. You just have to think it for yourself. But anyway, and it's a big occurrence. I mean, for this to happen. So anyway, when I was talking to him, I go, look, but I know he didn't, I don't know, I don't think he saw it, the two dimensions. And because the ladder was there too, because he had a ladder like right next to the door, long ladder. And that was two-dimensional. Everything past his door was two-dimensional. And I said, look, but I knew not to go down there. And that was another thing. The two-dimensional, now it blows my mind. Before then, it only made me think about it because I wanted to put it on video. So then after that, another occurrence, like I said, and my friend went to England, so I was watching her apartment in New Jersey. Okay, so that's why I was in New Jersey. If I wasn't in New Jersey, I would have always had to go down there, okay? Because I would take the train over anyway. That's another story. So anyway, I was in New Jersey watching her apartment. I started painting, just mad painting. But I'm just going to tell you the big things that happened. I called my friend and I was like, I just kept hearing how do you say it? Arabic, okay, in my mind. So I called my friend and I started like speaking this Arabic sound. I said something's gonna happen. And then I had one painting that I did was like the Arabic, you know what I mean? And I was speaking and I would like talk to him and I go, there's something wrong. Like I told him in a restaurant, when I was in the restaurant, there's something wrong. Something's going to happen. So I called him and I was like speaking like Arabic. And I'm not Arabic. Yeah, it's like Arabic. And I was saying, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Something's going to happen. So then I hung up the phone. But then I went to sleep. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know which happened first. But when I went to sleep, I dreamt about being in the subway, and I was walking through the subway, and whatever it is, it doesn't want me to be afraid or anything. That's another thing too. So I was walking in the subway, and everybody was sleeping. I can still see the dream right now. They were just sleeping on the floor, on the chair, everywhere in the subway station. So I called my friend, and I'm, it's almost like I dreamt about it in the morning, which is strange. But anyway, I called him in the morning and I said, I had a dream and it was like so real. But everybody was sleeping. They were in it, and I never put two and two together. They were they were sleeping all over the chairs and everything. I mean, they were sleeping on the floors. Everybody was sleeping. I was on the train, the subway train. So I told him, and he was so cool because he just listened to me, you know. And and then I took my painting. It was like Arabic, you know. It was just like I still have it. My friend has it, in those like letters type. And I took it outside or something. I don't know what. It was just I was really being like kind of like I don't know, just crazy like, you know what I mean? And I was doing paintings and everything. And I guess I can finish it there. That's the only strange. Oh, there's another thing too, because I used to always go to the World Trade Center just to meet men. You know what I mean? I hate to say that, but and when I would think about doing that, I would see metal, like melted metal. I close my eyes and think about going to the World Trade Center, and I would see metal, just red, hot, liquid metal. That's what I would see. So then after that, the last thing I can say, because there was a lot of things that was going on, I was going to work. So evidently, I don't know what day the World Trade Center fell. I can't remember. But I remember I was on the in a bus, because there's these buses that go to New York, and there's one point in the bus where they have just before you turn, there's a New York skyline, and you can see the whole skyline. You can see the Empire State Building. You can see the World Trade Center. So when I was like stopped, and something said, it wasn't said to me, but it was like, I can't even explain how it is. It would, okay, if I translated it into human, it would be like, look at the World Trade Center. This was the day. And it was so unnerving, which it never likes me to be afraid though. But this time it's, look at the World Trade Center. That's exactly, I mean, if I translated it. But it has no sound or anything. But I just translated it into what it sounded like. And I was so unnerved about it that I said, and look at the Empire. And I see the World Trade Center, and there's the Empire State Building too. But I knew it was I mean, it was just like the World Trade Center. But like I said, it was a little bit unnerving that I kind of like wanted to brush it off, and I brushed it off by saying, and look at the, you know, to myself, of course. I'm not saying out loud, and the World Trade Center. You know, I'm just translating it. Okay, so then after that, that was it. But I was working in upstate, like Yonkers, past Yonkers or something like that, you know. So when I got to work, you know, everything happened, you know. It was like, you already know what happened, because I was sitting at the desk, and because I was working for Leukemia Foundation, and somebody came by. It was in the morning, of course, and they go, a plane just fell into, a plane just, how can I say, flew into the World Trade Center. And everybody goes, wow, really? But I didn't think, I just thought, you know, like it hit, you know, like a small plane or something like that. So then after that, she came back, the same lady, and go, there's something wrong. You have to come downstairs, everybody. And in the exercise room, it was a really nice place. In the exercise, I can't believe I worked there. in the exercise room there, they had the television, and everybody has to come down and watch it because we have to, because this is really big deal. So we went downstairs, and I saw the two buildings, and one of them collapsed, and I just said, they're both supposed to collapse. I said to myself, they wanted both of them to collapse, or something like that, or something like both of them are supposed to collapse, and then the other one collapsed. Um, yeah, it was more like both of them. One collapsed, and I just said the. I don't think that's weird, because if one collapses, you know the other one's going to collapse, because I was like saying they want the other one to collapse, or the other one is going to collapse, something like that. I'm not really sure. And then it collapsed. And so today today I was looking at the World Trade Center things, and this is why I put the World Trade Center in, because it was very interesting. I lived through there. I lived there when I was in New York, and there was one guy, one plane that they took over. That the passengers took over, and they took over, and they actually told the truth, because nobody wants to say religion, but this lady who took the call from one of the guys who who did the commotion to take over the plane, he called her, and he said Jesus. I mean, I want to pin it on here. Maybe I'll put it on there on the on the description or whatever. But he said, and can we pray the Lord's Prayer? And they prayed the Lord's Prayer, and he said Jesus, something about Jesus. Can I pray Jesus? Pray to Jesus? And she goes, yes. And she goes, can we do the Lord's Prayer? And he goes, yes. And that, to me, was the most beautiful thing. And nobody's going to express that. That's the weird thing about how we're living today, is that because I think the call had to do something with Jesus, that they didn't make it known to everybody. You know what I mean? I didn't hear that until now. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm going to pin that on the description. But that what really moved me. And that helped me to say that is another reason why I know that I'm right and the Jehovah Witnesses are wrong. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. This is a long one, but I got to put it out. Okay? I hope everybody's doing it. I'm not doing music now because I'm going through a transition, a big one. And I hope when I start doing the music again, it's really going to be really great. So think about your weird experiences, and think about what makes you know that you're happy, you're an ex-Jehovah Witness. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. See you later.